Now, joining me from New York is Mike Bako. He's a sports editor for the Daily National, a multimedia sports news site, and a sports analyst for Fox. Sir, welcome back to the show.
Always good to be with you.
Extension of the ban that took place 3 months. The ban against Russia took place 3 months before the World Athletics Championship. Do you think that is a coincidence?
No, I don't think it's a coincidence as much as they keep going back to see if Russia is making any progress. Certainly there are some good and some bad that were cited in the report. The good, investing about $3.2 million for testing their athletes from a doping standpoint. So that's good. Going back in time for the samples that had been not tested over many competitions. So those are the two good things that the Federation said were in their plus. But in the bad, you just mentioned it in the intro, leading up to athletes still doping. The Federation covering up for those athletes that were doping, and now potentially this idea that banned coaches were still in the mix, training athletes and being involved. Those are all strikes against them. So no, it was not something that was a setup or something. This is something that we actually saw coming. Russia needs to get its house in order when it comes to its anti-doping measures, and the IAAF is basically saying no, they're not getting their house in order.
So, right, the reason given to extend the ban against Russia, or rather not to reinstate Russia, was that coaches and doctors found working with Russian athletes. But do you think that is sufficient evidence not to reinstate Russia?
Yeah, at this point, they don't really have a lot to stand on in terms of past reputation. You have this champion high jumper, Daniel Lyshenko. One of his samples was supposedly doctored by the Russian officials. They falsified records when it came time for him to retake the test and for those samples to be submitted. So this is a system, and this is a Russian Athletic Federation that at every turn, one step forward, two steps back in terms of them being trusted. It does not paint them in a good light, and certainly from the top down, Vladimir Putin is not very happy with what's going on. He has a lot of favored members within the organization, and not only is he looking towards the international track and field championships, but his big goal, his edict, his order that has been put forward is that they need to be verified. This ban needs to be lifted by the time the 2020 Summer Olympics comes around in Tokyo.
So what do you think Russia must do next to get itself back into the world of athletics?
Well, it's a difficult situation for them. A lot of these allegations have been brought to light because of leaks within its own organization. So right now there's a bit of infighting going on. Certainly just doing the right thing in terms of not having banned coaches in their organizations, going back and actually getting the samples tested from past athletes that have failed. Certainly not covering up for the athletes that have failed. So again, investing this $3.2 million US dollars in terms of anti-doping measures, that is a good thing. But in terms of the people that are still within the organization, this is a top-down organization that has accepted that doping is a part of how they were going to succeed. So until they get rid of those members and put everything above board, they're going to be scrutinized, they're going to be looked into, and unless in these next 3 months they could do some of those things, the IAAF may have no other recourse than to extend the ban.
We'll see what happens next. Mike Bako, sports editor for the Daily National, thanks so much for your insight.